If you've been left or blindsided by an avoidant and you're left questioning why you weren't enough, this video is for you. In this video, I'll share exactly why being left by an avoidant hurts so much, powerful reframes that will shift the way you view this breakup, and what to do next so that you never question your worth again. This is the exact method I used to go from anxious to secure, and what I use to help my clients regain their confidence after a breakup and never look back. My name is Dr. Lilli. I help you heal from breakups and toxic relationships. And I've got the degrees and made the mistakes so you don't have to. If you're looking for healthy relationship advice, hit that subscribe button below. What I'm about to share with you has helped my clients heal in a matter of weeks rather than years of therapy. And many of them have already been in years of therapy prior to working with me. So here's what society tends to get wrong and how to avoid falling into those same pitfalls. Society teaches us that there are winners and losers in relationships. Whoever did the dumping is considered the winner, and whoever was dumped is considered the loser. This is why the thoughts of, why wasn't I enough? Why am I so unlovable? And what more could I have done? Are constantly swirling in your mind after you've been broken up with. Because society makes love and relationships look like an achievement. Success is marked by the length of time rather than the quality of the relationship or the health of the connection. But even more powerful than what society teaches you is what you have taught yourself. You are making yourself the loser of the breakup because it is re-triggering wounds that you have from the past. These questions of, why am I not enough? Why didn't you love me enough to change? Aren't just directed at your ex or just about the relationship. They actually reflect deeper, long-lasting beliefs that you have about yourself. The reason it hurts so badly is because you're covered in these open, gaping wounds that you got as a child that have never been tended to. And you believe these beliefs to be true about yourself. That's how they got there in the first place. They started out as a thought, an explanation to something that happened to you as a child. Maybe your friend decided to stop being your friend one day, or you got bullied by other kids at school. Or maybe it was that time that your parents told you you would never amount to anything. Whatever it was, these experiences left an imprint in you. And because of these experiences, you started to believe that there was something inherently wrong, flawed, or bad about you. On the surface, you might even be able to say, yes, I know I deserve love, but something deep down inside you doesn't feel or believe that it is true. You question it even though you can logically make sense that you are deserving of love and you are worthy of the love that you desire. And it's those past experiences that are still living within you, in your memory and in your body, that are preventing you from feeling like this is actually true and is actually attainable for you. That's why as soon as you start to feel someone pull away, or they aren't as enthusiastic or energetic to see you, maybe they just text you morning instead of good morning, or say love you instead of I love you, all of a sudden your brain starts to spiral. You feel your chest constrict and your thoughts start to race. You wonder, did I do something wrong? Why are they pulling away? And you snap into fix-it mode because you believe that you must have done something wrong and you are in charge of the way that they're feeling and showing up. And you believe that you have to fix it because you are the cause, even when that simply isn't true. And then when somebody really does leave you, that feeling gets magnified even greater because it's re-triggering that same wound that you acquired in your childhood that made you believe that you were inherently flawed and responsible for the way that other people show up and the way that they feel towards you. But here's the truth. The breakup doesn't actually mean that you're not enough. It doesn't mean that you're unlovable, and it definitely does not mean that you'll never find love. You're assigning meaning based off of the narratives that you have in your head. But these narratives that you've created aren't actually true. But part of you, your subconscious, loves to believe that what is happening outside of you in your external world, the things that you cannot control, it loves to see these things as evidence of the stories and beliefs that you have about yourself, because that is all you know. You don't believe that it could mean anything different. Your subconscious doesn't want you to, because as long as it is in line with the beliefs that your subconscious holds on to, you're safe. because it is familiar. This is the way it's always been, and if it were anything different, you would have to adjust the entire way that you view yourself, love, and the world around you. And honestly, that is simply too much energy for your subconscious to want to do. It's entirely unfamiliar, so it is uncomfortable, and your subconscious always wants to go the easiest route with the least resistance that expends the least amount of energy for you. Even though it is painful, it hurts to believe that you're not good enough or unlovable, your subconscious just wants to be right. It wants to protect you in this little bubble that it has created for itself, even if it hurts, because pain is all that it knows. This is also why you keep attracting avoidant partners, because they are a mirror of the type of love that you experienced as a child. Love that was inconsistent, unavailable, neglectful, and conditional. That is the kind of love that is familiar to you, your subconscious, and your nervous system. And because it is familiar and not truly available, these avoidant partners that you choose will re-trigger these wounds inside of you because of the way that they handle their own trauma and triggers. Their intention isn't to hurt you. Just like your intention when you become anxious isn't to smother them. You're trying to soothe yourself just as they are. So their actions really aren't about you at all. They affect you, but they are not because of you. They are really just them, the avoidant partner, trying to handle their emotions in the only way that they know how, which is to get out, leave, and be alone, because they had their own experiences in childhood where they learned that they can't rely on anybody else and it is safer to be alone than to risk abandonment. So here are some reframes to help you see that you are in fact enough and that their actions and the breakup means nothing about your worth. 1. Recognize that just because you were the one broken up with doesn't mean anything about your value. You aren't worth any more or any less because you were the one that got broken up with. If you see yourself as less, this is because you have put them on a pedestal. And if you've put them on a pedestal, then you are inherently below them in your mind. And because you're the one that put them on this pedestal, it also means that you're the one who's able to take them off the pedestal. So think about all the crappy, emotionally unavailable, unsupportive ways that they showed up to you in the relationship. Think about all the ways that they weren't able to face their own emotions and create deeper connection in the relationship. That doesn't make them any more special or better than you. Them being able to detach and walk away doesn't make them better than you, because that behavior is typically their exact opposite reaction to the same triggers that you're experiencing, just in a different way. Number 2, them breaking up with you could actually be a reflection of how great you are. People self-sabotage all the time. So it could be that they saw how loving, how available, how supportive you wanted to be to them, and that scared them. They've never been with somebody like that, and so they didn't know how to handle it. If you are that open and understanding and patient with them, they could start to trust you. And that trust is vulnerability, and vulnerability scares them more than anything. And so they will absolutely avoid any circumstance in which they have to put themselves into a vulnerable position, like trusting you, like being in a real, emotionally open relationship in order to try to keep themselves safe. So this doesn't excuse you from doing the work to continue to heal, but it can help you shift out of the victim mentality that you've put yourself in. And I'll be honest, you choosing them and wanting to go back to them is a form of self-abandonment. It's your own form of self-sabotage because you know deep down that they can't really show up for you in the way that you need. But that's a topic for another video. Comment trust below if you want to hear more about that one and how to heal it. And number 3, avoidants tend to leave people that they actually care a lot about. So them leaving doesn't inherently mean that they didn't care about you, that they didn't love you, or that they didn't love you enough to change for you. This is especially true if the breakup happened out of the blue, if you got, quote, discarded, if everything was good up until the breakup. Maybe you both were getting closer, the relationship was feeling more real, or maybe it was after a great weekend or a vacation away. All of that means increased intimacy, increased vulnerability, and that can cause an avoidant to want to run. The intimacy scares them, and they may feel too suffocated. And the only way they know how to deal with that, even with you saying that you are there for them, is to run away. Because sometimes even that availability from your end and that desire to support them feels smothering and suffocating. So the breakup doesn't necessarily mean that you meant nothing. It could be that you meant a lot to them, but you also represented something that they weren't ready for or didn't know how to handle. And that is not your fault, and it is not a reflection of your worth or your ability to be loved. It is simply a reflection of their ability to show up for you. So here are some ways that you can actually heal. Number one is to start by getting out of this victim mindset. Using these reframes is a great place to start, but they definitely aren't anywhere near the end. Once you start to believe that you have power and control over how you feel about yourself and how you show up in dating and love, that is when you get your power back, and that's when you start to see more of what you actually desire in your reality. So recognize that you are not your thoughts or your feelings, and how somebody behaves is driven by their own internal state and often has very little to do with you or anything outside of them. And the deeper work and healing actually occurs when you look at these deep core wounds that you are carrying. So ask yourself, what are these wounds? What is being triggered within me? Where did this wound come from? And is it true? Help yourself start to feel the new reality that you want to create and the new belief that you want to instill in yourself. What would it feel like to believe that you are lovable? What would it feel like to give and show yourself the love that you desire? What would it feel like to be a healthy and secure partner who is emotionally resilient, emotionally regulated, and can show up even when they're afraid? This breakup is showing you exactly what still needs to be healed inside of you. And it is these shifts that you can make that will attract your dream partner. These shifts will bring you to the very first love of your life, and that is yourself. So how can you start? By loving yourself better. In this next video, I'll break down the real reason that you still can't stop thinking about them, even when you know that they weren't good for you. I'll see you there.